the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Action-packed 4-hour program tonight leading into the Monday Night Football doubleheader that we have also on the program. Orlando Ledbetter has covered the Falcons for a long time. He's in 30 minutes. We'll get his perspective on the Falcons for tonight's game. Nick Bogdanovich, Sports Gambling Hall of Famer, longtime Vegas odds maker with Circa. He's coming up next hour. We have the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll get into a potential weather board this weekend in the NFL, meaning a lot of games could be under some severe weather. And all the week 16 numbers? My God. How was the weekend?
All right, good.
You doing good?
Yeah. Can anyone here play this game? Turnovers, interceptions, quarterbacks getting benched.
Are main players in the league going to stay healthy?
That too.
For the next month or so, the way that this plays out. I'll tell you this. Do you think Netflix is a little bit pissed off now?
It could be a bad beat.
How about that for the NFL? So because of the games on Christmas, they had to force these teams to play this Saturday. No Mahomes the way it's looking. Could be out Christmas Day. That'll be a fun one for Netflix, huh? When Carson Wentz is going to be starting on Christmas Day, there's a nice little lump of coal in everybody's stocking to wake up to. That was the, potential, the landscape shifted yesterday in the National Football League with the playoffs now looming. The Mahomes injury, they're calling it a high ankle sprain. That never sounds good, yet they improved to 13-1. I got to tell you, though, if Andy Reid can find a way to win any of these games with Carson Wentz. I don't know how. Nobody knows at this point how many games he's going to play. What if they finish 16-1? Carson Wentz.
There you go.
Andy Reid's not going to win Coach of the Year?
Yeah, this is good news for our ticket on Andy Reid. And he's down to like 14-1 now. So O'Connell's the new favorite in light of what happened in Detroit. And you figure more losses are coming. And this is right there for Andy Reid. If they can beat Houston with Carson Wentz, and even if you get Mahomes back against the Steelers, yeah, he's got a damn good case with all these injuries that if they can pull this off, and still, though, they couldn't put away the Browns, and they were +6 in the turnover battle. It's credible what's going on. Yep. YOLO, Winston turning it over. DTR comes in. You get 6 turnovers, and you can't blow them out. Ridiculous.
So this team could finish 16-1 in the regular season, have home field with that bye in the AFC, and the way the Bills are playing, nobody's going to pick the Chiefs. Every single person is going to pick Buffalo to come out of the AFC. And, probably face the Eagles now it's all tied together, right? What's going on with the Lions on top of it. But how many people are going, is that a mistake?
Yes. Also, I think the Baltimore team's dangerous. So we're going to worry about that offense.
Yeah.
And that's why I still don't think this MVP's over. Allen's been great, but it's probably, doors almost shut. But Lamar's playing on national TV the next couple of games. So if he can light up Houston, if he can light up Pittsburgh, maybe Bills stub their toe. You never know.
Are you more concerned about the Chiefs' kind of status on no one with Patrick Mahomes or with the Detroit Lions?
No, the Lions are in trouble. It's too bad. Can't have nice things. New favorite now to win the Super Bowl. And how can the hits keep on coming? So now Montgomery's out for the year. He finished the game on a torn ACL. You lose 3 more defensive guys. What are we up to now? 15? 15 defensive guys on IR? It's just, you can't overcome this. And you want to say, well, it's Buffalo and the MVP and Allen is going to light you up, but he gave almost 600 yards up at home. You can't get stops, and I don't blame you, just because you have so many injuries. It's unprecedented. You're down 15 guys, and now you lose a key piece with your running back. So
I can never recall a team being this decimated as like the Super Bowl favorites. I remember the only time Aaron Rodgers ever won the Super Bowl. That year, Green Bay got in the playoffs with 10 wins, and I think they were the 6th seed. I think that they had 16 guys on IR late overall for the team on the season, and they pulled it off. But they were a 10-win team, and they were the 6th seed. I can say this. I can't prove it. I do believe that the Lions, at full strength, are the best team in football with a bullet. Potentially not even close. Like, they were going to win everything. They were going to win every game that they played but one. They were going to dominate the NFC. They were going to come out of that conference, and they were going to win the Super Bowl. Now, they're the third best. Current form, they're the third best team in their own division. I feel so bad for the fans.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
What can you do?
It's terrible. I know. Are you going to win the division now? You could find Minnesota 7-1 last week, And I know they have a tough schedule, but who's to say Detroit beat Chicago and even San Francisco now? And that could be for the division when they play the Vikings Week 18. So,
hold on.
Terrible.
Because they still are the 1 seed. And if they end up with the same record as Philadelphia, they are going to get the 1 seed.
They're $1.05 right now.
Okay.
Philly's plus 160. Minnesota's plus 450. Kansas City's $2. The Bills are plus 160.
Right. And again, if this team did not have significant injuries this year, I am very confident in saying that no team was going to go to Detroit and win in the playoffs. Now, if they get the home field advantage, let's see here. Philly, no doubt, can go there and beat them. I think Minnesota can go there and beat them. I think Green Bay can go there and beat them.
Tampa.
I think the Rams can go there and beat them. And I think Tampa can go there and beat them.
Yep. It's wide open now.
Basically, every team that would make the playoffs on that list can go to Detroit and win. And without injuries, I don't think anybody was going to do it. This is just, it's devastating, man. So what would you do if you're me? A 12-1, and I kicked this around with a bunch of friends today to get their opinion on it as well. 12-1, I'm offered a cash out right now on the lines to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd take it. I don't think you're going to get the 1 seed. And you might not win the division.
They're offering me double my original bet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You already have some no.
I have some no to win the AFC here at Circa.
Yeah.
I also have 3 times the bet that I have him on to win the Super Bowl at 6-1 to win the AFC. So I was coming back thinking about this possibility on the no price when it was minus 147 and minus 150 for them to lose out or lose and not win the NFC. I think I could hit the cash out right now and be okay with that, or I can just let it play out. If they get home field, then I can just hedge against them at that point. Because I don't have confidence in that defense right now. How could I?
Right. And then the distractions that the 2 coaches will have, because I'm sure everyone's going to want Glenn and especially Johnson. So can you stay focused on your opponent when it's playoff time? That'd be another concern. Although it didn't affect them last year, but still, people are going to be all over Johnson and maybe Glenn too. So I would hit the cash out button. The other thing is what it means with the other injuries, not only for the playoff picture, futures, but also Survivor now. Imagine Survivor if you don't have Geno Smith and you don't have Mahomes, what you have to do. And still, only one person's out, 35 are left, 15 are on the Vikings tonight. One person had the Niners, so they go home on Thursday. But then what do you do on Wednesday, Thursday? If it's Carson Wentz against Pittsburgh, you don't have Pittsburgh, and then it's Sam Howell, who looked horrendous against the listless Bears team that's on this long losing streak.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. The person who bought the one Survivor entry last week for $130,000 plus that we talked about, the only Christmas Day entry remaining was Chicago on that ticket. Looks a lot better right now.
If Geno's out, yes.
Bears will win that game if it's Sam Howell.
Well, yeah, he was. I wasn't encouraged to say that.
How is it?
Least.
How is it? So when Sam Howell plays, by default, does his offensive line automatically turn into the worst unit in the entire league? Or
what happened?
Or is it just him that just takes sacks somehow?
I don't know.
Does he run into trouble all the time?
I know. It's back-to-back sacks to start. So maybe they got encouraging news. One report said it's not bad, but it's like Mahomes. You don't know. It could be a week. It could be a couple weeks. It's high ankle sprain, or then what's going on with Geno's knee. So, but it's certainly a game changer, but also because of the clock and how it's set up, where you're looking at a Saturday game, and then you're coming back and you're going Wednesday or Thursday.
Yep.
But I will say this. If it gets to 3.5, I'm taking Kansas City. The Texans had 130 yards passing.
I know it.
They couldn't run the ball. Tua handed them the game.
I really want to take the Texans seriously. I have the entire year. But, Paul, who thought about this last year in the offseason, that the biggest reason why we can't is because of the offense?
Defense was great.
The defense is phenomenal.
Stroud has regressed. They couldn't run the ball. It's ridiculous.
That defense is good enough for them to win the entire conference.
Yeah.
But the offense, and I was listening to our buddy Adam Chernoff's podcast today. He's right. Bobby Slowick with the early down calls with running the football and not passing. Adam's adamant about this. That's going to come back and bite him in the ass, and that's going to be the reason why they lose. He is completely afraid to open it up early on, first, second downs. And they just want to pound mix in 2020. Is Nico Collins any good?
Yep.
Jesus, man.
Yep.
Stroud was phenomenal last year. You might want to open it up once in a while.
Yep.
But the competition there in the AFC, probably too good. And going back to what I was saying 5 minutes ago, you can predict it right now. Mahomes, watch, the Chiefs are going to go into the playoffs limping with home field. Nobody's going to pick them. What do you think is going to happen?
Same thing as last year.
Same exact thing.
Yes. But regardless, Houston's going to probably face Pittsburgh or Baltimore to start.
Yeah, that would not go well, I don't think.
I don't like their chances.
I don't like it against Baltimore. I mean, we'll find out. We have that game coming up on Christmas Day. The Steelers have to get George Pickens back.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good Saturday. Tomlin says Pickens looks good, and you're probably going to have Watt back too. Yeah, that Watt should be okay because it's a different team and a different passing attack without him. They got to have Pickens back.
Yeah, I'll tell you this: so right now the Vikings are laying 4 this week, not tonight, but this next week at Seattle. If that's Sam Howell starting at quarterback for the Seahawks,
I know. I wouldn't take 7 if it's Sam Howell.
Oh no, I'll lay alternate numbers with Minnesota.
Yes,
that defense will annihilate him.
Yes.
But that's the big if. If somebody told me right now Sam Howell's going to play, probably the Vikings right now be the biggest bet of the season for me.
Arizona, plus 550 to win the division.
Oh,
Not out of it.
Wow.
Not out of it. They can do this. Remember, they play the Rams coming up. Cincinnati, not out of it. Chargers all of a sudden stubbed their toe. That's a huge game Thursday night. Right. Still, Denver's got like a 94% chance, but Denver has to go to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
They could lose, and then they have to play Kansas City. That's a tough schedule to
How
close.
big were some of these games? Like the Chargers beating Atlanta. They never should have.
That's right.
Right? The Bengals blew how many games this year?
Yep.
Countless?
Yep.
They'd be right there. Tell you what, Ravens are still plus 140 to win that division today.
Mm-hmm. Got to like them Saturday at home.
That's
right.
looking awfully juicy to me.
That's right. You should be able to beat Houston, then you play Cleveland, right? And then Pittsburgh's got, who knows if Mahomes plays. But I'm with you on all of that. So
much happened this week in the NFL. That's only the tip of the iceberg. Up next, we will start to preview Monday Night Football. It has been a smash spot for this position in recent weeks. It should continue tonight. We'll give you the details next here on VSiN.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big. We go all night. And here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Good to have you on board. The final Monday Night Football doubleheader of the year tonight. One game starts at 8 o'clock Eastern, the other at 8:30. What do you think about that? You okay? You want some more separation?
Yeah, it could have gone 4:36, especially with the game out here in Las Vegas, the late game. 4:36 would have been better.
Okay. Vikings are laying 7 at most national books. I do see a couple of 6.5s out there. Might be a 120 on that with the juice. Total is 43.5. We had Mike Somich on, VSiN host, on Friday. I thought he made a great case for Minnesota in this game. And here's what I'll add to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to sit here and tell you that I think Minnesota is as good as like the absolute most elite teams in the NFL, but I don't think they're far behind. So if there was another team with an 11-2 record tonight hosting the Chicago Bears, or a team, let's say it's Buffalo or Baltimore, or the team was Detroit, full strength here, or, another team, whatever that team might be, do you think that they'd be 6.5 or 7? Isn't this kind of some disrespect here to the Minnesota? Shouldn't their power rating be higher? I know they just played a couple of weeks ago, went to overtime, and they barely won the game.
Yeah, but they were blowing them out.
Yeah, I thought it was misleading.
Kick. It was misleading, right. Yeah, it's a funky line. I laid 6.5 with the Vikings. I am surprised. It's too much respect for the Bears. You figure they bounce back and show some pride after what happened against San Francisco, but maybe not. To give up all those points and 450 yards, how's that look after what the Niners didn't do against the Rams? Mm-hmm. So Minnesota's 9-0 against teams with a losing record. The Bears are 0-6 on the road. They were eliminated yesterday. They haven't won a game, 7 in a row since the Hail Mary they allowed. And you got a defense that takes it away and could force some turnovers tonight. And not the fact that you can't cover anything. I mean, this was a recipe for disaster. I like Addison over and Jefferson over longest reception. Darnold tied for the league lead in attempts, 20-plus yards. And I think they're going to take a lot of shots down the field and have some big plays like they did in that first meeting.
Addison killed him in that first game.
He did, yeah.
So did Hawkinson.
And this duo was really turned into something. And going back to that win, they scored 30 points, yet Jefferson only had 2 catches in that game.
Right, and I was reading up a lot on that game today. The Bears made it a point, and Jalen Johnson is outstanding as a cornerback. He didn't guard him the entire time, but they made it a point to take out Jefferson from that game. And that allowed it to open up for Hawkinson and Addison. And now the question is, do they have the same kind of game plan, against Minnesota's offense tonight? So, on that 7-game losing streak that you brought up, I think people forget about this. The Bears were actually 4-2 and playing well going into their bye week.
Right.
Since the bye week, that's all 7 losses after that. You want to talk about bye week being at the worst time imaginable. Tight ends have also killed Chicago in recent weeks. Kittle, 6 for 151.
Yep.
Laporta had 3 catches, only 6 yards, but 2 touchdowns. That's tough to pull off. Hawkinson 3 weeks ago, 7 for 114. The defense basically allowed nothing, which is shocking to me, in the 3 previous games against good tight ends, by the way. Tucker Kraft, Hunter Henry, and Trey McBride didn't really do much at all in those games. Hawkinson played 68% of the snaps against the Bears in Week 12 and at least 60% in the last 3 games overall. He is 6th among tight ends in Pro Football Focus receiving grade on the season, and the Bears' defense is 31st in yards per route run allowed to the position. I played Hawkinson. I think I was maybe a little bit late to the party, but I got him over 41.5, and I know that some books had like 44.5 not that long ago on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Hawk can eat tonight. I think that's... Please tell me how they're going to guard this team.
Yep.
Because Addison has been awesome for a long time now. And if they try to take out Jefferson again tonight, then I'm convinced it's going to be Hawkinson and Addison yet again.
Yep. Hawkinson over. Addison longest catch. Caleb Williams, no interception. 7 straight games. He has no interception since that London game against Jacksonville. So that's 7 in a row, not turning it over. And I think maybe Odunze could be the guy who eats a little bit. Minnesota allowing 3rd most passing yards to wide receivers. Could be an Odunze game, and that's the way I'm going to attack it. And laid the 6.5 with Minnesota.
Yep.
And good luck to the 15 people who have him in Survivor. But it's like you got to show me something here. Any pride after what happened against San Francisco? Not to mention you got that Thursday night game coming up too. So again, you could get embarrassed, and you have to O'Connell now the favorite to win Coach of the Year. What they did and how they've looked offensively, and Darnold how he's looked and played. I just don't see how the Bears are going to get stops. I don't see it because the first game was a problem, and Minnesota's hot right now, especially offensively.
Yep, totally agree. I mean, if there's a coaching change that took way too long to happen, and then the team finally moves on from Eberflus like they did, and that's the performance that you got after Thanksgiving when the ending of that game was absolutely embarrassing.
Yep. And
you come back, and that's how you play against San Francisco, and it's 320-2 in yards at one point, 14 first downs to like none. So, I don't know. Some of these teams are doing the right thing by just losing in glorious fashion down the stretch here, right? Because they don't want to screw up the draft pick. Like the Giants. They probably want the number 1 pick in the draft. We're going to watch the Raiders tonight, a team with 2 wins.
Mm-hmm.
They should lose the game. You don't want to win any of these games. You don't want to screw it up. Like Jacksonville screwed it up 2 weeks ago when they beat Tennessee. They were if they lost out, they would have had the number 1 pick in the draft.
Right. Whether you need a quarterback doesn't matter. It's the treasure chest you can get for the pick.
Sure.
And trade down because teams lose their minds every year in the leverage that you have. I forgot the gold chain. I was going to bring in the gold chain. You got that future on Atlanta. You can still do this. So how the schedule sets up, number 1, Kirk's got to look okay. Kirk, no touchdown passes, 8 interceptions the last 4 games. Just embarrassing. And we'll ask our guests coming up, could we see Penix? When would that happen? It's Ritter tonight. Open 3.5 up to 6. Now back down to 5.5. Got to win this game, number 1. Then you play the Giants. Probably going to be Tim Boyle, okay? Then you go to Washington. Likely to be that Saturday game on that triple header on Saturday. Definitely winnable game. Washington had issues. Couldn't put away the Saints. That's a winnable game. And then you close with Carolina. So it's still doable that they can do this and sneak in the playoffs and close on a 4-game winning streak. But it starts with Cousins. And it's a very easy schedule, but Kirk played well against Carolina. And I know health's the concern. Can he move? Made some nice throws against Minnesota, but again, the silly turnovers. The defense should be okay tonight because Ritter can't do much other than scramble. And plus, it's what he couldn't do with all that time he spent in Atlanta as well. Limit, take away Bowers, win the game, cover, and then focus on the Giants and get a winning streak going here. That's it right there.
I don't want this team anywhere near the playoffs.
They can win 10 games.
Get them out. Get them out of the NFC. We don't want them in, Paul. They're terrible. They have no chance to do any damage in the NFC playoffs. Absolutely none. I don't want them in ahead of Washington, Seattle, the Rams, Tampa Bay, any of those teams. Get them out. They stink out loud.
Yep.
And their schedule has been so easy down the stretch. I'll tell you this. If this was O'Connell and Max Crosby was playing in this game, I think Raiders win it outright. And the reason why we got that steam is you're taking the best defensive player, one of the best in the entire league, off that front 4 for the Raiders. And I think he probably would have been in Cousins' face the entire game tonight. You're telling me that Cousins is going to avoid him coming around the edge when the guy's a total statue? Right. Not happening. But the problem is Desmond Ritter, of all these bad quarterbacks that we've watched in the NFL, as bad as Will Levis looked again yesterday, and some of those throws that Jameis Winston put up in the air yet again, and what Sam Howell looked like, Desmond Ritter is just as bad as any of them.
Yes, and then you can't help him out because you have the second worst rushing attack in the league.
Right.
So other than Bowers, what's he going to be able to do through the air? Can't run the ball. Got a quarterback who can't make big plays. And we keep pointing this out. They beat themselves. Minus 17, the turnover battle. Worst in the league. Can't take it away. Turn it over nonstop. So it's a different team without O'Connell. The issues Minshew had, this guy can't play. Right. 2-11. 2-11. Atlanta should blow them out.
I went to war with a couple of tight ends this weekend. I'm going to war with them again tonight. Again, I told you about Hawkinson over 41.5.
Yeah.
Why don't we go, not Brock Bowers, why don't we go over on Kyle Pitts tonight? It's a very small number. I love betting these small numbers with guys who are going to be out there on the field quite a bit. The Raiders are the 3rd worst defense against tight ends. In recent weeks, Cade Otton, 70 a week ago. The game before that, on Black Friday, Kelsey had 68. Noah Gray had 58. Jonnu Smith, Mike Gesicki recently had 100 yards or more against his team. Kyle Pitts, maybe a ladder play tonight.
Receptions. Let's do that too. Because Safomo. Look what McBride did. Look what Jonnu Smith did.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy could have 8 catches tonight. I wouldn't be surprised.
He could have 8 for 80, whatever.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Perfect holiday gift for you. VSiN Holiday Special. Everything due through May 1st, $79. Every best bet, every host, every guest. The betting splits from DraftKings and Circa. Every ticket cash is the same. We went 4-0 over the weekend with soccer. Doesn't matter, lower leagues, whatever. 24/7 video access, all the betting guides, the college football playoff guide is out. It starts Friday. Can you believe it? Could get snow in South Bend. VSiN.com/subscribe. Holiday special now, VSiN.com/subscribe.
What was that, the latest update that we got today, though, on the games overall, not just Friday night? 3 games potentially now with snow in college?
Well, it could snow the day before or day of. So we'll see. But again, this stuff can change. That's going to be the big story.
Let's hope
not
it
only
happens.
the play-in games, but this week in the NFL. It's a big story. You might not get snow, but it's going to be cold as bleep.
Here's what I don't want to hear. If this happens with the college football playoff games and people complain about it and they decide, we better have these first-round games indoors and make them all neutral field, it'll destroy. Automatically, I hate it. I hate the idea. I don't want to see people complain about, but it happens all the time. People complain about snow football. How?
I think do it the other way. Give teams a benefit for the bye. Let them have a home game.
D. Orlando Ledbetter covers the Falcons. How healthy is Kirk Cousins? We'll ask him coming up next.
They're off.
Sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Doubleheader tonight, Monday Night Football. I'm excited. The first game starts at 8 o'clock Eastern. The second game, which is out here in Las Vegas, starts at 8:30 Eastern, featuring the Atlanta Falcons against the Las Vegas Raiders. And D. Orlando Ledbetter has done a great job covering the Falcons for a long time for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and he joins the program now on the Progressive Guest Line. D. Orlando, thanks for the time today. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Mitch and Paulie. Thanks for having me on the show.
You told us that you're at the Bellagio buffet right now before you go to the game tonight. What's been the highlight so far?
So far it's been the omelet with, all the ingredients and the fine mushrooms and cheese they sprinkled on at the end.
Delicious.
Strong.
Yep. So how healthy, honestly, do you think Kirk Cousins is right now?
Well, he hasn't been on the injury report, but he's been coming back from the Achilles all year. He did show up on the injury report one day with a shoulder injury after the Saints game, but that's been 4 weeks ago. So I think he's pretty healthy as could be, as a 36-year-old guy coming off Achilles could be.
It's been bad, his performance, the turnovers, the last 4 games, no touchdown passes. Could we see Penix at any point this season?
I don't think we see Penix until they are eliminated this year. They've been true to their plan of letting them learn everything. They haven't given him any game plan, so that shows you that they're not even trying to prepare him for the game. So if he plays, that's an emergency situation, unplanned, and that's the only time we've seen him is a mop-up duty here this season.
Take us inside the locker room. How do the guys feel, the players, and also people in the organization? It hasn't gone well the last month, but the schedule's definitely doable. They can run the table here. How are the guys feeling, and if you think they have it in them to close with 10 wins?
Yeah, the whole feeling is pretty, one of dire straits. They know what they got to do. They got to win 4 after they lost 4 in a row. Jesse Bates was saying, hey, as long as we're not pointing fingers at each other, we're going to be in pretty good shape. So, so far you can't see if they are. They haven't done the offensive-defensive line split. So, offense, defense, when they start pointing that, hey, they need to do better. Hey, they need to do better. So we haven't seen any of that yet. So you got to think they are unified heading into this stretch, heading into this game here against the Raiders, then the Giants next week. The big one is Washington. They'll have to beat them and then close out with a win over the Panthers.
So based on how the Raiders have played, to this point this season, they're one of the worst teams in football, clearly. And on defense, no Max Crosby tonight could be very ugly for that team and that side of the ball. I think it's simple to sit here and say that Bijan Robinson is the guy that's going to go nuts for Atlanta. I think we could probably all buy into that tonight in this game. But who else do you think does the matchup sit well for them tonight? Is it going to be Kyle Pitts against a really bad tight end defense in Las Vegas, or is it somebody else on the outside?
Yeah, Bijan and Algier are my guys that, I'm coming away with after talking to the offensive coordinators, like, hey, we're just going to take first and second down off Kurt's plate. So that means they're going to run those guys. And then when they do throw, maybe Pitts is open today. They have been trying to get him the ball the last couple of weeks. Have been unsuccessful. This may be the game to activate Pitts and throw him some deep balls down the field. He's hasn't had a great season, dropping passes, looks kind of lazy on some stuff. Not a great route runner. All the critics are coming out the woodworks right now on him, and that's what they're all saying.
Yeah, if Desmond Ridder shows up with his absolute A game tonight, how good is that? Because you covered him for a little bit of time anyway in Atlanta, and it rarely, if ever, looked any good. But if he plays to his absolute peak, can they keep it mildly interesting tonight? Can they win the game, shock the world here?
No, I don't think so. I went to UC Law. I've been following Desmond for a while. Those are some great teams in the history of the school. But when they had Georgia on the ropes and it was time for him to make the play to beat him, he couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
When they got in the playoffs against Alabama just shoved the ball down his throat. So I haven't seen him win games by himself. in college or in the pros, but, they had enough weapons around him to do some damage against bad teams. But no, I haven't seen him, come out and throw for 304 touchdowns and win a game. Maybe that was coming. Maybe they're developing that here with the Raiders, but we haven't seen that from Desmond.
What was disappointing, the losses to the Saints and the Chargers, and in the Charger game, they actually brought the pass rush and put some heat on Herbert. It was been a problem the whole season. Where are you at with the defense? And maybe they can dial up some pressure and close strong in the last 4 games.
Yeah, they've been 9 sacks the last 2 games just to get them up to 19. But the coverage was so bad in Minnesota, the pressure didn't help. They got to marry those 2 things together. But the defense has been stopping the run. They finally got a rush. Then they lost their coverage. So they got to put everything. They've done every part of football in parts this year. They haven't done a good job of putting together one good game since week 2 at Philly. That's on coaching, the first-year staff and the coordinators. But it's time to start playing ball for 4 quarters, and they just haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, I'm assuming that you watched plenty of Brock Bowers in his college days at Georgia and knew how good he was, and the prospects of him, landing and doing really well in the pros. He's one of the best tight end prospects I've ever seen. He's living up to it as a chance to beat all these records. What's the game plan defensively overall with him? Is it just as simple as don't let Ritter get him the ball and let everybody else beat us, or how do you think they approach that?
Yeah, they put their best defender on him, Jesse Bates, and then try to jack him up with a linebacker underneath. You got to take the game to Brock because he's going to definitely bring it to you. So don't try to get physical with him, and then put your best defender, Jesse Bates, on him to run with him down the field. So real simple game plan to going in there against the Raiders. We got to stop the little running back from the practice squad and lock down Brock Bowers.
Any idea how many Falcons fans are going to make the trip out here 9 days before Christmas and watch him play live on Monday night?
Oh, yeah, it's hot. They've been on the planes, seen them in the casinos. They still wear their Mike Vick jerseys, or they either flip them and turn them into Bijan jerseys. But I'm thinking that's a couple thousand at least. I don't think it's a takeover scenario. But a lot of people did make the trip as soon as the schedule came out. Hey, football in Vegas, that sounds like two good events to mix together.
What do you have for a final score tonight?
I got the Falcons winning this one. It'll probably be like 35-17 or something like that.
Oh, lots of points.
All right.
Okay, I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah.
There you go. D'Orlando Ledbetter has covered the Falcons for a long time for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and you can follow him on X. He's at DOrlandoAJC. Enjoy the rest of the time that you have at the Bellagio Buffet and the game tonight here in Las Vegas. D'Orlando, we appreciate the time.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Join us here on the Progressive Guest Line.
Enjoy the buffet. So I'm going to do, Pitts, 50 yards, and 5+ catches, pays 6-1.
Okay.
I'm going to do that.
I don't hate that.
All right.
Could it be like a Jacoby Myers type? Like, I have no confidence in Desmond Ritter.
No.
I don't have any.
No.
But based on, the whole game plan should be, well, if the guy actually makes something happen and is throwing the football to open guys, let's not have it be Brock Bowers. Could it be a Jacoby Myers type of game? His receiving yards prop is 62.5. Does that seem high with Ritter at quarterback?
That does. But then again, what if it's a blowout scenario?
Okay.
Which it could be. If it's 24-3, 24-7, fourth quarter, he's throwing every down.
Yeah. He also brought up Tyler Algier talking to the coaching staff.
Well, he expects a high-scoring game.
Well, he does.
All right.
So that would lead me to think of, okay, well, if it's a blowout, potentially, how about, and the Raiders can't run the football, how about Algier most rushing yards? Or Algier last touchdown of the game? Or even like a 2-touchdown kind of angle tonight with him?
No touchdown, 185
do that.
1.
Should we parlay the no touchdowns in the 2 games tonight? No, do that.
Could do that.
I think Algier might be worth some of the exotics here that we're talking about.
Okay. Good luck.
The last touchdown angle is always fascinating.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Elevate your tailgate game. Try Sewell's, born from a backyard cookout in a mason jar of unforgettable flavor. Sewell's has become a Southern favorite, lighting up taste buds from Georgia to the Carolinas, ribs and wings, backyard burgers. Sewell's takes every bite to the next level. Southern hospitality never tasted so good. Order online, Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com. Sewell'sBarbecueSauce.com.
All right, first book I'm looking at right now, Algier Anytime is plus 230 in the game tonight.
I'll take 11-1 first touchdown.
He's 19-1 to score 2+ in the game.
Okay. I would expect Ritter to turn it over, too. That's another thing.
I think that's coming.
Happen. Yes.
Also,
yes. Both kickers to make a 33-yard field goal also.
I like that one.
I do trust Carlson, and I'll trust Koo if it's under 45. But
first team touchdown, Algier is 7-1 to score the first Falcons touchdown. And last in the game, he's 10-1. That's baked in.
All right.
I was hoping for like 18, 20 to 1.
They know what they're up against. This is it now. Close strong. You got 2 games you should win coming up. Go to Washington. You can do it. Close with Carolina. Okay, stranger things have happened.
Boy, you're very optimistic about this team.
Yeah, I'm saying just to get in. Yeah, you could close 4-0 here.
I think they'll get blasted by Washington, but
I think they have issues.
Win-lose up next, a 30-1 cash on a player that still looked like he's in his prime. Paulie with the details next here on VSiN.
Got a good thing coming, just wait and see. It's a good.
You spoke, we listened. Introducing the all-new VSiN Watch app. Now, you can watch and listen to VSiN expert analysis live wherever you are. Missed a show? No problem. Catch replays of VSiN's full lineup at any time. View highlights sorted by sport. Or use the search feature to find specific teams and topics you're looking for. And the best part? It's free for a limited time. Download the VSiN Watch app today. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. And join us on the Sports Betting Network. last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they? Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Fun weekend as always. First touchdown early games, Chiefs 8-1. Highest scoring game, Bills Lions 3-1. Low scoring game, how about this? Chiefs Browns 9. The low scoring game was 21-7. There were points this weekend. Yeah. Big reason why were all the turnovers. What happened? Most points, Bills 9-1. Fewest points, Browns 13-1. Most passing yards, Goff 10-1. Most receiving yards, what a call from Mike Somich Friday. Devontae Adams 30-1 had a $198. He didn't have anything in the first half. Rodgers had 3 completions at halftime.
Yeah, that Adam's stat line was 0 for 0 overall. Somich on Friday said bet him up to 100 and 120 plus yards, and that was a big number that it paid.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I got to tell you, in that second half, Adams looked like he's still in his prime. Some of those catches and moves.
Oh, the one on the sideline. Oh, what a catch.
Vintage Green Bay time.
Yep. They'll be fun to watch down the stretch if the weather cooperates because they can't stop anything. But certainly, you watch them play. It's like, what? How do they have 4 wins? Dowdle, 8-1, most rushing. Will a quarterback throw 5 touchdowns? Lamar Jackson, yes, plus 350. Offensive lineman touchdown. Skipper, yes, 7-1. Texans now 12-2 ATS in the first half. And Navy, plus 280. Beats Army.
How about this? There was also a defensive lineman to score a touchdown yesterday in the passing game.
Yeah, Hubbard got it.
Sam Hubbard for the Bengals.
That's right, yeah. EPL. Man U plus 480. What were they, 50-1 in play?
Yeah.
It was 1-0 in the 88th minute. Man U got 2. And Man City loses again. 1 win, 2 draws, I think 8 losses going back. If this points deduction's big, and it's supposed to be, Nigel thinks it's going to be 40 points. They're going to they could get relegated. Hello. Crystal Palace 3-1. Ipswich Town plus 280. Arsenal, Everton draw plus 560. Liverpool Fulham draw plus 520. UFC, Jacoby knockout 5-1. Round 3 16-1. Woodson round 1 10-1. Also win some. I watched Monsters on Netflix. The Menendez brothers. Not bad. Javier Bardem is incredible as the father.
Oh, I love that
what
guy.
What a performance.
He's
God,
such a good actor.
Oh, is he strong. Lose some. Bengals Titans under 49 down to 46.
Why, by the way? Again with Bengals under money?
Yep.
They're what, 10 something like that? They're one of the best teams that have been all year long going over.
Yep. Told you to be careful. For the first time in 33 games, the Panthers were favored. Took money. +2 up to -2.5. Routed by the Cowboys. Commanders from 3 up to 7.5. Also no good. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Huskies, I've been telling you for 7 years, are escape artists. Look at this guy at doggy daycare. Get up there, big fella. Look at the other guy. He jumps, gets a running start, clears the fence. I don't know how. And look at his buddy. Like, how did he do that? I want to try that. It's like no problem, right? They're all fenced in at doggy daycare, and the Huskies like, I've had enough. And he jumps up. It doesn't even look like difficult for him.
No, it was pretty simple.
Yeah, and he clears it no problem.
Takes 2 seconds.
Right.
So that is specifically in the DNA for Huskies.
Yeah.
Okay. It's got to be,
Beagles,
right?
too. Beagles, too.
You've been talking about this for 7-8 years now.
Husky. They can open doors. Iris, I had to chase. May she rest in peace. She was awesome. I had to chase her down so many times. She could open doors. It's incredible. And this is unfortunate. Has this ever happened to anyone out here? Oh, no, wrong one, guys. Sorry, wrong one. We already played that one. Do you have 8? I wanted 8. Let me know if you have 8. I already played this one. That's good with the guy's doing the window washing.
Yeah, the window washing.
The dog's playing, and he got the toy. Here we go. They're at the car wash, and the dog opened the window right in the middle of the car wash. Look, wrecks the car. Look at everything comes in on the inside. Oh God, never thought about that. Going through the car wash, and the dog gets excited and opens the passenger side. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Oh, man.
Hey, that's okay. Thanks for the heads up, because our dog Frankie opens up windows all the time in the car.
Yep. That's excellent. FTM at VSiN.com. Tweet at us as well. The dog opened the window during the car wash. Bad for the books. Lions, Bills over 51.5 up to 55.5. Chiefs, Browns under 45.5 down to 40.5. The Ravens from 12 up to 17. In the bowl game, quarterback shenanigans. Western Michigan from 10 down to 5.5. A big field goal that put it on 7. Bad beats. Cardinals, Patriots under 46.5. Are you kidding? 28 points in the fourth quarter. 4 touchdowns. It's like that's 13-3 in the fourth quarter, and they erupt. Aston Villa and under 1-0, 87th minute. They lost to Nottingham Forest 2-1, and I had it too. Commanders on teasers. Ridiculous. Number one, they're up 17-0. They fall asleep. They don't put them away. Hayner out. Rattler comes in. Couldn't stop them. They missed the 54-yard field goal. Looks like they're going to run out the clock. And then the officials went into our pockets. Mitch has a big detailed breakdown coming up. There is no way should have been time left. They hit Foster Moreau. They stopped the clock for at least 4 seconds. They kill it. There's 3 seconds left on the clock. The clock stopped at least 4 seconds. Oh, I don't know. He shouldn't have done that. I don't know why he did. Nothing on the line. Just a playoff spot, right? Ridiculous. And no accountability. The guy stopped the clock. VSiN Road to Jan Sanity, free to play, grand prize $5,000. Pick college football games against the spread before each round. You'll end up making 11 picks. Each game weighted differently by VSiN. Add to the challenge. Picks due 30 minutes before kickoff for the first game of each round. Read the contest rules and register. VSiN.com/JanSanity. Deadline Thursday. And actually, we found a VSiN host through our first contest back in 2017. A lot on the line here. Football handicapping skills could win you $5,000, free to enter. Pick the games. VSiN.com/JanSanity. VSiN.com/JanSanity. Deadline Thursday. Get in there. Tell your friends. Win some cash.
All right, in the next hour, we have all the numbers for the next week in the NFL. We'll run them all down and get you caught up to date on weather situations that you definitely want to file away. So based on all these Lions injuries, their total against Chicago is 46.5. Too low on defense? How are they going to get stops? They're going to be playing with practice squad guys everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Campbell, he did the right thing yesterday and this morning, talking to the media. He goes, we have no excuses. That's on me. Well, Dan, thanks for saying that, but at some point, you can't win with guys who should be in the NFL.
No, you can't criticize him either for the onside kick. He's trying whatever he can.
He was.
They couldn't stop him.
It's exactly right. The defense could not get a single stop against the Bills' offense.
Yeah.
So if they recover that, I mean, it's maybe a totally different ball game. Also, how many points are we going to get in the Chiefs? And this is now coming down a little bit. It's down to 40 everywhere the way it looks. Mm-hmm. Chiefs-Texans game. I think it's going to be Carson Wentz. I mean, clearly the point spread's telling you that it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
But I still have
7-point move, yeah.
Right? This might be the perfect combination for another under here.
I'm not going to rule out Mahomes, though. High ankle sprain. We've seen him play through stuff like this before. I mean,
yep. But even if Mahomes plays.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that point spread will flip. But in terms of the total, the Chiefs' defense is very good. The Chiefs' offense doesn't do anything during these games.
That's ridiculous what happened yesterday. +6 in the turnover battle, and you couldn't put them away?
I know it. Come on. Look at the Texans.
Yep.
Their defense is fantastic. They have 2 guys who could win Defensive Player of the Year. That's how good the defense is. And you saw Stingley yesterday played out of his mind against a good Dolphins offense. At least we think so anyway. And the offense is like totally broken at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a perfect combination. That game could be like 13-10.
Yeah. I trust Wentz. Guy's a veteran. They have weapons. I think he can do enough. Take it away. Stroud's been awful.
Right. Just don't be Jameis Winston or Will Levis.
That's right. The other thing is this is going to be a tough week because weather going to be cold. Weather could play a big factor. Take a look at this totals, not only college football playoffs, but Week 16 in the NFL, and I count 7 road favorites Week 16.
Yep.
It's getting juicy now.
How about another Bengals over?
If the weather cooperates, yeah.
Yeah. Total.
That's right.
Right now, 47.5 is out there. 47 is a key number. All those around that 47, 48, 49 kind of key. But anything below like 49 to me, if the weather's okay. The Titans went right down the field twice yesterday to begin the game. And then back-to-back defensive touchdowns for the Bengals took it in, and then they had a stranglehold on the contest. Their defense is absolutely putrid.
It's enough already. We don't have to see any more of Will Levis. It's over.
No, he can't play in the NFL.
There's just no reason to put him out there again. He can't play. He's Winston Light.
Well,
and
and I think the Cowboys are going to fight down the stretch. We didn't see any quit in that team yesterday.
He's not bad. Rush isn't bad.
He's okay.
I'd rather have him than Winston. The guy doesn't turn it over, and he made some nice throws. I mean, Big Mike's doing a good job, and they found something with Dowdle.
Yeah. Yet another reason why officials and referees need to be criticized. They cannot do their jobs, and what happened yesterday really makes people question what's going on. We'll expand on that end-of-game situation next here on VSiN.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Stormy, really, with a